The dollar is a guaranteed loss. Anytime they print dollars, they're making those dollars worth less. And so understanding that, you realize there's 100% risk in holding those currencies. Your time is the most scarce thing that you can give this world and give to people as a gift. You're fed a lot of lies as a kid. You're fed a lot of lies as an adult. Here's this money, but guess what? We're going to print the very dollar that you're earning. Like, that's such a scam. Stack hard because those years go quick.
Welcome to the Bitcoin RX podcast. This is your host, Nurse Ralph. Today, I got with me Joey from Sats Venture, who's going to help me give you a weekly dose of orange pills so you don't die from fiat disease. Joey, my man, what's good?
Let's get it. I'm keen as, bro. Early here,
Yeah.
but we're talking about Bitcoin, so I was happy to get up. Let's do it.
Of course, man. Of course, man. If Joey looks a little, tired, it's because he just woke up. So forgive him.
For real,
Eyes
for
are
real.
red as hell. It's all good, man. Love the passion, though. Love the passion. Yo, before we start talking about Bitcoin, though, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey before Bitcoin.
So I'm obviously on the younger side of Ralph's guest. I'm 21 now, but I was getting into crypto before Bitcoin around 17 years old, so about 4 years ago. And it started as sort of a speculative gamble on crypto, and it was really just a hope for a better future, I guess. I sort of had a little bit of savings, probably around $7,000, and I'd been grinding at a petrol station job trying to get some money, and I was willing to just bet all that money because I figured, hey, if I can fast track some of my early years, get ahead of the curve, and maybe I've got a chance at, maybe actually building generational wealth, or even just to have financial security, because I understood life was getting more and more expensive even at 17. And I was wondering, how can I get ahead of this? And so, I put it all sort of on black, or all on red, I guess, in crypto. And I won heaps, I lost heaps. There was a whole journey of there, and then eventually narrowed in on Bitcoin and realized it was the only one with finite supply. And so started to make that shift, dribbling into Bitcoin, and then now I'm all in on Bitcoin. I don't have any other cryptos. So I guess that's sort of my journey on that early steps. So yeah.
Nice. What was it that sparked your curiosity into Bitcoin when you first started?
So I looked at Bitcoin in probably 2021, and I saw that it was at an all-time high at that time, so it was around 60,000 US dollars. And I remember thinking, okay, so I've missed the boat with Bitcoin. This is why I have to buy things like Cardano and XRP and all these things that I had a lot of unit bias. So I thought owning multiple of those coins meant more than trying to get to one Bitcoin, because in my head it was just one Bitcoin was $60,000. I'm never going to own $60,000, at least not for the next few years. So maybe I'll just buy something that's worth $1, because I had $1, I had $5,000, I had $7,000. I could afford all these things. I bought an Ethereum. I went to buy a second Ethereum. I went to do those things because I could hold one whole coin. And then as time went on and I watched all those things I was holding just get absolutely destroyed in the bear market, and then at the bottom of the bear market, I'm buying as much as possible, trying to accumulate for the next altcoin season that was coming up. This is sort of a typical story for a lot of crypto people. And then as Bitcoin did a run up, I watched it do about 5 or 6x in front of me from its bottom. And I was like, okay, well, that means all my altcoins are about to run. Yeah, like people are going to start selling Bitcoin, pour into altcoins. Like, this is the narrative, that this is what goes on. And, I'm fresh, I'm new. So I'm just listening to what Twitter's telling me what to do. I'm listening to what every man and his dog's trying to tell me what to do. And then, no, none of those cryptos have recovered since. And luckily for me, I jumped ship. And so I continue to watch Bitcoin rise and outperform everything else. And I know there's going to be days that altcoins will outperform Bitcoin in the short term, but trying to pick those times, it really is, you're putting your entire life savings on a gamble and really hoping for the best. Once I understood that, I was all in. I was just trying to trade every dollar for Bitcoin, trading all my altcoins. I took some massive losses. Like there was one that I swapped like a big bag over, and man, it was a painful loss to swallow. But I had to do it, man. It was really painful pill to swallow. But at that point, I understood, hey, I can hold this as long as I want, try and get back into the market, try and trade, get as much fiat as possible, and then swap into Bitcoin. or I can start treating Bitcoin like money. I can start treating it like a store of value. So I started to just swap all altcoins. Didn't matter the loss. I just went all in because I knew that Bitcoin could appreciate and not only retrieve those gains, but actually start to grow again on top of that and out appreciate every loss I've ever had. And so it didn't really matter. Like I might see a 2 grand loss on paper on one of my bags, but then I knew long term this might be a 10 grand profit, 20 grand profit, and started treating Bitcoin as money and a store of value, not just as an investment, and just started swapping anything that I knew didn't have a finite supply for something that's scarce. So that's
Yeah.
basically that journey there.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. It's thing you mentioned earlier, the unit bias thing. Do you think it's like it would be better if we like everybody start talking about like sats instead of like Bitcoin, so that people start thinking like in smaller increment? Because you're right though. Like when I first started too, I was like, oh yeah, I'll never be able to afford a Bitcoin, and I think that's one of the reasons why I went all in into all altcoins at first. And I feel like I don't know if that would be like better if we all just started saying sats instead. So what do you think about that one?
I'm already trying to do that now because
Mhm.
when I talk about Bitcoin, the first question I get is how much is a Bitcoin? And then I'll tell
Yeah.
them, and then they're like, "Oh, so you own that much?" And then I'm like, "I wish, bro, I
Yeah.
wish." And so like I'm doing myself, some damage on my end. And
Yeah.
but now it's like, hey, like Satoshis, and they're like, "What are Satoshis?" And I'm like, "There's 100 million Satoshis. You got to get as much as possible because they're just as scarce as Bitcoin in some sense, Like Bitcoin is just this whole coin that's trying to, when you're dealing with bigger numbers, but when you're dealing with smaller numbers, you want to be working with Satoshis. And so, sure, if you have like billions and then trillions and quadrillions of Satoshis, then yeah, start using Bitcoin as a unit of measurement because you're obviously in a different league. But for the average person, man, you got to be using Satoshis because you got to treat it like cents and you got
Yeah.
to understand, hey, 100 million Satoshis is a Bitcoin. And so if I can just get 1 million Satoshis, 2 million Satoshis, and try and build my stack up over time, just
Mhm.
don't worry about getting like, don't, if you think you can't get to a Bitcoin, do not make that your main goal. Just try and get as many Satoshis as possible because
Yeah.
you're going to get the same growth regardless. It doesn't matter how much you hold. It's not like, oh, if once you get to 50 percent of a Bitcoin, then you're in this new league and you'll get new benefits. It's like, no, everyone that opts in gets the exact same benefit. It doesn't matter how much you can contribute to the network. You're going to get the appreciation that it gives back to you. It's the proof of work that counts. So
Yeah.
if you're willing to sit on that money and say Bitcoin goes up 50%, obviously it doesn't matter how much you're holding, it's going to go up 50%. So that's why you want basically as much money as possible in Bitcoin because obviously the more the better, like you want to be
Oh, yeah.
swapping those crappy dollars for the best, I guess the best dollar in the world, which is a currency and it's Bitcoin. So
Yeah. And so you are 21 years old, you're married already, and you're a Bitcoiner. Damn. On paper, you're like the perfect man, dude. That's crazy.
that's right.
Yo,
Let's preach.
yo,
No.
yo, anybody else your age around you doing what you're doing? That's crazy.
Obviously, I'd say these days it's pretty unique. Like traditionally, I mean, people would get married pretty young, so I'd say I'm quite conservative on that end.
Mhm.
But I met my wife when we were like 13, 14, so we met very young, and then
Mhm.
I knew, this is the one. So as soon as we were old enough, had a bit of money to throw a wedding, we just did it. And now we combine our incomes and we're grinding life together and it makes things a bit easier. So I think we need to go back to, getting married young, start actually building up a little bit of a, because a lot of people think, oh, getting married is actually more expensive. And it's like,
Yeah.
you get to
No,
do
it's
life
it's not.
together, bro. Like you
Yeah.
get to combine, we get to combine our wages, pick what we want to do with our money. Like she's like, hey, I trust you with this Bitcoin thing, but as long as you, tick this, tick this, tick this, I'm like, yep, all good. We're still paying for the groceries, we're still paying for the rent, but
Yep.
any spare
Yeah.
cash, it's going to Bitcoin. So it's worked out pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. No, no, honestly, marriage is it's a good thing when you do find the right person. Honestly, like so, I mean, I'm enjoying my marriage. So it's like once you find the right one, man, and if it doesn't matter the age, dude, just do it. Unfortunately, like it's like where I'm at. It's like I feel like a lot of people are like postponing the marriage. It's like it's too expensive. People are just overthinking it. A lot of drama, but like I don't know, man. It feels like in a way fiat is also affecting marriages for millennials, well, not just millennials, for everybody really. So yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's like it's like it's another one of those things that I don't really think about it that much, but when you really dive into it, you're like, wow, Bitcoin also fixes this as well. It's like one of those minor problems that you're like, okay, that's another thing that fiat affects that Bitcoin does fix. So no, I like it, man. I like it. If you have like, let's say you had like 5 minutes to give a short presentation to a group of nurses and tell them why they should save into Bitcoin, what would you tell them?
So, group of nurses specifically.
Yeah, so a group of nurses specifically. Yeah.
I'd probably say, look, you guys, you do an awesome job. Like what you're doing, we need you guys basically. And so you should be getting rewarded for what you're doing. Unfortunately, what's going on is because you're getting paid in dollars, you're not getting the same reward that you're giving. So it used to be a nurse, a doctor, all these people, they were in just this different league or type of money. So they're getting paid, maybe it's through government, maybe it's through benefits, whatever it may be. And so there should be this huge reward. There should be a huge reason that people come flooding to these things because we need these people. Yeah. Like we need all these occupations to function in society. And so these are some of our main characters in life, I'd say. So there's a big difference between someone like me currently right now. I'm cutting grass for my dad. I'm on commercial mowers. I'm working for the council. I'm slowly leveling up, hopefully into management, things like that, because it's my dad's business. But the reality is, the grass is always going to be there. It's always going to be cut by someone. It's not changing the world. It's making the lawns look nice. It's fixing the parks. It's getting the sports grounds looking good. But Ralph out here, he's assisting people, saving people's lives. He's doing what he can to contribute. He's working night shifts like we were talking about before. And so these people are extremely valuable. What do you want to do with extremely valuable people? You want to not only pay them right, but you want to pay them in something that's going to be have some long-term stability and a store of value. You don't want something that's going to shaft them as time goes on. So this is why Bitcoin comes into place, because you can be paying someone in a money that's actually going to stick around long term, that's going to appreciate long term. And it's not only storing its value, but yeah, it's appreciating. So it's the ultimate gift that keeps on giving in some sense, because it's setting them up for a future. So right now they get dollars and they're trying to set up for some sort of retirement fund. Unfortunately, they're not going to have access to that to their 65, 66, 67, whatever. I've even saw in some places in Europe, it's getting pushed to 70. So it's like, it's no respect to the work we've put in. It's no respect to the time and energy. And when they do things like, print the money supply 40, 50% during COVID, it's like you just robbed those people's retirement fund 40 or 50%, anything that's outside of assets and things like that. And then unfortunately, when it comes to assets and things like that that are appreciating and going up in price, they either can't keep up with how much they're printing, so they're still a melting ice cube, or they find ways to tax it as much as possible while they're holding. So they really just don't want people to get a hold of their retirement fund. They really don't want people to be financially set free, because it means we no longer have to rely on them. And so, yeah, when it comes to nurses, hey, you deserve Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like, Bitcoin doesn't need you or anything, but you really need Bitcoin because you can continue working as you are, contributing to the world, and I'm sure you find passion and purpose in it. But how hard is it to fight this uphill battle? Like, you feel like you're doing God's work basically, and then what's your reward? Here's this money, but guess what? We're going to print the very dollar that you're earning. Like, that's such a scam. Like, how can someone be set up for the long term? Like, that's just criminal. Like, if you're a nurse today, you should be retiring at 50, 55, 60. Thank you for your service. Boom, next nurse coming through. Like, come on, man. Like, the crap that these people have to see and the things they have to do, it's like, the very least you deserve Bitcoin, something that's going to appreciate over time and set you up, That's all
That's
I've
well
got.
said,
But
man. No, man, that's well said, man. Sheesh. Yeah, you should come give a speech over here, man. that was good. That was good.
I didn't even explain any of the principles of Bitcoin. But yeah, basically it's a better money to be saving than the
Yeah.
dollars you're earning. And I could probably go into a bit more of that. But
Oh yeah. Oh
that's
no,
all
we
good.
can. I mean, no, like you can't really explain Bitcoin in 5 minutes. It would be impossible, really. So there's way too much into it. But no, that was a great explanation. Honestly, yeah. No, I like it. I like it. Do you ever like argue with people about like, because you had a video recently saying that you went all in into Bitcoin, you have 100% of your wealth into Bitcoin. Do you ever fight with, or people fight with you about like how, oh, let's say their financial advisor tells them, oh, I'm only to put only 5%. Do you ever have people tell you why 100%? Why not 10%? Why are you going all in?
I wouldn't really say it's fighting. Like I've gotten to the stage where I just like one, I'll probably just cop it. So there's no instant. I don't lash back out. If they're gonna have a little hissy fit over what I'm doing, then they can do what they want to do. But now it's just like, alrighty, guys, this is the reality. I'm not trying to make this crazy investment anymore because a lot of them saw me through my crypto days and stuff, and they were like, "This guy is dangerous. Like, he's just dropping." Like, no wonder like people wanted me to get out of it, especially leading up to getting married, because it's like, bro, you can't be out here risking your entire life savings hoping that fart coin goes to the moon. So, they're probably treating it like that. They're just saying it's not another crypto. And so I always go to the point that, hey, this is not a speculative gamble and it's not an investment. Rather, it's just swapping my crappy dollars for a better dollar. Like it's just trading my crappy money for a better money, or crappy currencies for a better currency. And so I said, I want to choose to save in something that it's actually less risky than holding the dollar, because the dollar is a guaranteed loss. So over in Australia, I'd say that the monetary inflation rate's like 10 to 12%, which is the true inflation rate in my head. Like I don't go off the CPI because I think that's bullcrap. And so let's say I save 100 grand, which is not the case, but let's just say I did, and it's 10%. By the end of the year, I can only buy $90,000 worth of things going into the next year. So that's how that works. So when the monetary inflation rate is 10%, 12%, it's shaving off that much purchasing power, regardless of what the value is still saying in my bank account. So the value in your bank account is just a number at the end of the day, but it's losing more and more purchasing power as time goes on. So anytime they print dollars, they're making those dollars worth less. And so understanding that, you realize there's 100% risk in holding those currencies. Whereas Bitcoin, you take a chance. And so there's going to be some years where it's 20%, 40% down, 60% down, but it is just a time game. So if you're in, say, for example, if you've been in since 10 grand and it's now 100 grand and then it drops to 60 grand, and there's, all the people that bought between 60 and 100 grand are panicking, selling, freaking out, and you're sitting on 10 grand. Do you think you're panicking and selling? No, you're still like a 6x up from what you've put in. So it is just a time game, and I understand that. And so a lot of people are like, bro, what if it drops 50% tomorrow? You've only been all in Bitcoin for like a year and a half or whatever it is. And it's like, bro, it doesn't matter. Like I'll be buying as much as possible. Like I wish it dropped 50% tomorrow, because I'd be buying as much as possible. Like I don't need the Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin's not funding my life. It can in some aspects, but like as long as me and my wife are both ticking off our rent, ticking off our groceries, and getting by in life, we'll be okay. And we can put more aside to Bitcoin and get more and more as possible. And we know there's like 1 or 2 bad years out of a 4 or 5 year like chunk, and then in those 4 or 5 years it's going to appreciate enough to set me up for the next drop. So I'm not stressed about, like, take volatility as a blessing, bro. Like it's actually, if you're in an asset that is just sitting like this, it's dead. Like it's essentially just a zombie. Like there's no point investing in something that's flatline. You want to see a bit of a heartbeat just going up and down. Like volatility creates opportunity, and I think if you try and strip that back, that's where Bitcoin will lose. I think if you're trying to get it to just stay one price, if someone somehow set that price at where it is now, I'd be jumping out. I'll be like, this is not it. Like this is turned into a stable coin. Like this is not what I signed up for. So that's not what you want. That's not that's not an appreciating asset, man. So
Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like the volatility that people are looking at, it's like it's like it's almost like it feels like a fake illusion, because we're measuring it in fiat. In fiat, it's like at the end of the day, you just have to like try to save as many satoshis as you can. And in 5 to 10 years, 5 to 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I mean, depending on when you want to retire, dude, those things are gonna be so much valuable, because the amount of money printing that's gonna happen. I mean, it's like inevitable. Like we are gonna keep printing money. It's just they won't stop. It's just the way it is. I mean, even if they stop printing money right now, I mean, even if they stop printing money right now, if the government decided to just like stop, even then it's like they can still there's still the they can still control what you buy and everything. There's still that side of it that you want your own money that nobody has power over. They can like freeze your bank account. They can do other things. So it's like it's better money in every way, in every form, basically. So I don't know. Yeah, that it's there's just so much to it that I'm like, yeah, like just save in Bitcoin and just thank me in like 10 years and you'll see. And also I wanted to ask you about your video where you talked about how Bitcoin is better inheritance, because I know a lot of people are leaving houses to people, other investments and all that. Why can you go deeper into why you think it is a better inheritance for kids?
Okay, so there's two sort of, I think, parts to this. So you can sort of look at, a lot of people give their like kids pocket money. So I was given growing up, this is a little bit of leaking what my mum did, but I was given $10 every fortnight in dollars terms or whatever. And so it added up though. So it was a small amount off mum and dad's back. It was just like, hey, let's set aside this money for Joey. And they did it for the other kids and things. And so a small amount in fiat terms and a small amount, but over long term, this is what helped me have my first little bit of savings as I got older. So it ended up being like, 3, 4, 5 grand, whatever it ended up being. And then obviously I contributed as I went into the workforce. But unfortunately, the money that they were giving me has lost its value over time. So maybe they gave me $10 for the first time when they decided to open the account. That $10 by now, as I'm older, is probably worth $3, $4, $5, like depending on whatever rate you want to put on it. But imagine all those dollars over time, they're just leaking. So boom, $10. Ooh, it's suddenly worth 9, suddenly worth 8, suddenly worth 7. This is as time goes on. All those dollars past that point, they printed 40% of the money supply. 40% of what that had built up over nearly 20 years, gone, just like that. So it's actually crazy how fast they could just dilute the money supply, and like it happens slowly but surely. But then there's some years that just go absolutely crazy. So like COVID was a really good excuse to print money, and so Australia was just handing out pay slips everywhere, just like COVID support payments. You can't go to work, but I'll give you this little treat, to keep you going. And so we're paying for that now. Groceries are crazy, fuel's crazy, cars are expensive, houses are expensive. So what they thought in the short term was helping all Australians, and do they really think it was helping? Not sure. But we are now in debt that we probably would never pay off, and we just kick it further and further like the US. And so we just copy what the US does, but we do it worse. So that's the reality of inheritance. It's kind of a scam to be setting aside a little bit of pocket change. Like, it's fine if you're going to be like, here's $5, go buy a hot chocolate. Like, yes, of course, go treat your kids and everything. But I'm saying inheritance and even just pocket change. No, like set aside some Bitcoin for your kids because it can appreciate over time. Say you set aside and you do same thing, $10 every fortnight, gets to a certain point. Imagine that in Bitcoin at 18 years old and you decide to hand that to your kid. I don't know what it will be worth, but I doubt it's worth 1,000, 2,000. I would say it's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, because Bitcoin will be appreciating, let's say 40, 50% every year. And even if it goes down to 20% or 10%, it's like that's still outperforming everything and outperforming money. And so it's just a way better pocket change to give. And then I'll quickly go, because I've spent a long time on this, but I'll go into the actual inheritance when you're passing things on to your kids as you're getting older. Is right now, you're trying to liquidate real estate, you're trying to liquidate your stocks, you're trying to liquidate basically everything you have because you have to give a fair share to each kid. In those processes, there's also taxes along the way. Everyone wants a piece of your pie. There's transaction fees, there's custodian fees. So if you're swapping from one person owning it to another person, there's a fee in that, there's this, there's that. And so everyone's trying to get a piece of pie and they're trying to dilute what you get as much as possible. And so this is where Bitcoin comes in, and it's like, imagine it is liquidated like that if you need it to be, or you can just hand it over. So you don't even have to sell it. You don't have to give it back to the market because it is basically money and a true store of value like gold. It can be passed from one person to the next, and it's no obviously double spending. It's just, I once had it, you now have it, and you can decide how much government control you want to put into that. So for example, Right now, I could put my entire stack on a cold storage device like the Cold Card, the Blockstream Jade, or the Passport, and put that all away. Then, when I'm 60, 65, 70, let's say I want to start giving some of my kids money even before I pass on, time to hand over some of this wealth that I've set aside for them. I can literally transfer from that wallet straight to their wallet instantly like that. No one needs to know about it. It's completely up to them what they want to do with it. If they want to put it back on the exchange and sell it and take all the taxes and things that go for it, whatever. But I'm assuming by then you can spend it as money. It will be available for global trade without any repercussions, without any taxes, without any prying eyes. And if it's not, I'm sure there'll be ways around it because it's like owning your own money. You have your self responsibility in taking it into your own hands and actually looking after it. And so you'll be rewarded for that if you can take on that pressure now and that responsibility now. It will pay off not only for yourself but for your future generations and your kids. And yeah, it's just superior in all aspects. So let's say you have a kid that's overseas, he's 1,000 miles away, and you're holding real estate and you're holding that local currency and you're holding that local stock and all this. How the heck are you going to inherit that onto your kids that are overseas? You're cooked, man. Like, you're going to have to liquidate it all into their dollars. So there's going to be a conversion rate as well. By the time they get it, bro, like, you would have lost a very significant amount of that inheritance. And it's just unfortunate that that's reality. And so, like, imagine you have 10 houses here and you go, all right, come back to this country and inherit all this property. Nah, I'm good, bro. I want to stay here. All right, what the heck do I do with this? Because this is my entire legacy and my entire empire. I'm gonna have to liquidate it all. But a lot of those real estate things is built on debt and everything, so it's not like they own it anyway. And so they're relying on their kids to take the reins. And some kids don't want to do that. So Bitcoin, you can just pass on peer to peer instantly like that across nations, across anywhere. So it's just superior in all aspects. You can dive into that a little bit further, but
Oh yeah, no, I like that. It is truly like the only thing you can truly own. So it does make it easier to like pass on to your kids and stuff. I was just thinking about like what you said earlier about the stimulus thing, and I never really thought about it like how in my head for some reason I just thought that the stimulus checks only happen in America for some reason. I never really thought about other countries just printing out money, giving other people money and debasing their. I mean, I knew it wasn't happening, but I never really thought about. Actually, I had a thought until you said something. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They do that too. Okay, so yeah, it's not just an American thing. It's all over the world. They all. It doesn't matter what your country is, what your currency is. It's all going to zero against Bitcoin. I mean, it's just.
yeah. I was going to just say, with the stimulus checks, I think a lot of people, even myself at that time, thought that it was money that they just had spare on the side. Like, in my head, it's like, all right, the government has this vault somewhere where they can just pull money from, and like, they've really built up that that money over time, and maybe they've had to sell a bit of their gold or do this or do that. Like, Australia has so many natural resources, and so I sort of just assumed the government would be using that to the best of their ability, storing up this wealth in case of things like COVID. And then I had to actually wake up and realize it was printed like that. Oh, we need 10 million, or we need 100 million, or we need 2 billion, or whatever it may be. I think it ended up being in the trillions, but it was like, we need this money for the people so that they just can chill out. We've told them they can't work anymore. We told them we can't see their sick family anymore. We've basically destroyed society as a whole. But here's 450, or here's 750, and everyone's just like licking it up, and I'm just like, you just got told you can't do anything. You just got told you have to take this, you have to take that, you have to live like this. You can't even go visit your girlfriend like, we had the worst lockdown in the world. So Victoria, where I am based, was the worst lockdown you could have had in COVID. So I've experienced something that was just, everyone's experienced what COVID lockdowns and things were like, but it was crazy and it made next to no sense. And we can get into all conspiracies and things that we want, but the reality is, it was as much control that I've ever experienced in my life, and to actually see it and experience it was crazy. And unfortunately, like, for people to just turn a blind eye. All it took was a stimulus check, and it was just like, they're giving us free money, bro. Just take the opportunity. And it's like, bro, like your grandma just passed away, and they told you you were not allowed to enter that door. How is that not wrong? But I could have given her COVID. She was passing away, bro. Just go say goodbyes. Like, come on. And like, I had relatives that were, well, I mean, everyone would have experienced this, but like, people having babies and things, and the husband wasn't even allowed to be in the room. And it's like, but then you send him home with her, with the baby. So they're going to be in contact regardless. And then it was just like, Bobby, here's the stimulus check. And it's just like, bro, money can't fix all these problems. Like, we're not getting those 4 years back. And so, and for us to pay for it later is just an extra slap in the face, because it's not like it was free money anyway. It was just printed.
Right.
And so it's
Just taxing the future generation, basically.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, what? Just,
Yeah.
oh, let's just pass this on to our future generations. Well, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I was the future generation, and I'm copping it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
They just screw you over. Yeah. Yeah.
and I just have to accept that. And it's like, well, that's why I'm going Bitcoin, because the Australian
Yeah.
dollar's letting me down, and they can get stuffed. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. I know. Like when you think about it, it's like you like, wait, there's no way this happened. And then back then, I felt like I had like, to me, it was all normal. It was like, okay, the government is doing what's best for the country. And then now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, wait, okay, so we had all this money coming out of nowhere, but then in the hospital, nurses could not. We had like we did not have enough masks. We did not have any equipment. Like, so, like, I don't like it. It never. Now looking back at it, I'm just like, huh. Oh, okay. Like, all this money, we had all this money, but we had like like, I don't know, man. It's like one of those things I don't want to think about it too much, because then it's just gonna piss me off. But you're right, though. You're right. It's just massive freaking control. And yeah, but no, man, I'm not gonna I don't want this podcast to be deleted, so let's just not talk about this. We can talk about it offline. But
YouTube, we didn't say anything.
We
put our
didn't
hands
say
up.
anything. Let's just cancel this COVID
We love
conversation.
COVID. We thought it was
Yes,
very good that you locked me
yes.
down.
They did
Very
great.
good.
They did great.
Yeah. Oh, my mask is on.
Yeah. Let's talk about Fiat Food for a second. Did you read that? You did read that book, Fiat Food, right? Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd read that book in New Zealand on my honeymoon, and
on your honeymoon, man, come on.
hey, she was reading too. I thought I better get some education in as well. And yeah, I heard you mention it on a live stream, and I was like, I've read that book, and I can't believe so many people haven't read this book, because that book is incredible, man. Like,
wow.
it really goes down the rabbit hole. Like, this is like what I'm saying. Bitcoin has not only shown me the history of money and actually understood things like the Federal Reserve, the gold standard, things like this that I've never ever learnt in school for some weird reason, happens to be. And then Fiat Food is another layer, man. It's just like, so to hide inflation, we have to decrease quality. It's like, okay. So that's why things like pastas came through. That's why things like vegetable oils came through. That's why, beef and bacon and all these things are more expensive than a chemical cereal. It's like, something's going on here. But yeah, no, it was a really good book to read. And so,
no, that book was wild. No, after reading, I was like, oh, ain't no way. Like, I thought the lie was just about the money, but like, when you realize that the lie goes way deeper than the money, like into the things that I'm consuming, like making me sick. I'm just like, I felt sick to my stomach after reading it. I was like, yo, my whole life I've just been doing this, and it's been wrong. Like, I mean, I was an athlete. I was always like into sports, but like, if you were exercising, but the things you're putting inside your body are poison, like, it's not gonna, you still gonna get sick in the future, so like, that book really opened my eyes, like, into crazy. And like the thing you said too, like the way that they can manipulate CPI by just like kind of like forcing like the majority of the population to eat like corn, sugar, all the crappy food and stuff, like the things that are good for you, like steak, eggs, like the healthy stuff. It's like it almost feels like it's all conspiracy, but like when you really look at it, it's really not. It's actually just it's facts. Like, I had to actually double check everything, and I was like, oh wow, this is true. This makes sense. Like, if you wanted to like make the lie seem like it's true, like that's exactly what you do. You just force attack the school system, I think there's a quote in the book that said that if you something about like um if you kind of if you get the kids hooked early, then you have a customer for life. And that was like, yo, that was deep. Like that was crazy. But yeah, no, that book is yeah, nah. You have any other thoughts about that one, man? Because sheesh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny because now I look at it now that I'm a bit older and things because like growing up, it's really just your parents to feed you. You know, they got to control your diet, and it's like looking back at my diet, looking back at things like mom and dad did a great job. They raised 6 kids. Like, there's nothing I can take away from that. But there were so many lies that they were fed, and it was like things like, hey, so we have butter, you know, most of it's just like human, jeez, that would have been bad. Animal fat, things like that, you know, like it's just a natural product. And then we chuck a bit of this and it's processed and things, but you know, you chuck it on your toast, it's all good. And then here comes margarine and it's like, we found an alternative. And it's like, what's in it? And it's like, we generated all these chemicals and now you're eating it every day. And it's like, oh yeah, that sounds so good. Let me get some because it's $1 cheaper. And I'm like, bro, we've been scammed. We've been scammed. What are we eating? And it's like the fake cheeses, like the cereals. Oh man, I
Yeah,
can't imagine eating cereal again. And even
yeah.
things like I was thinking about. So I'm not sure if you guys have this product over there, but you probably have somewhat of an equivalence. It's like a wheat biscuit, and so we call it Wheat Bix over here. And it's like it's a
Hmm.
staple. So like every household has this, and so they
Hmm.
were basically their advertising built on was, hey, this was the wheat biscuit that, you know, World War II soldiers and stuff survived on. You know, like we couldn't afford steak and eggs and things, and so they had to survive on this breakfast biscuit.
Yeah,
And then people are still eating it now, and then
yeah,
I'm like, it has the bare minimum nutrients and things to survive.
yeah,
Why are we eating this for our breakfast? We are
yeah,
no longer in World War II. Like, we can eat steaks and eggs. If you can afford steaks and eggs, you got to be eating that over crap like that. It's literal
yeah.
sludge. Like,
Right.
you add a little bit of milk, you know, and it's like, bro, it tastes like ass. It's terrible for you. And it's like, I used to think, oh, it's a wheat biscuit, so therefore it's healthy. Biggest scam, bro. Like all these
Right. Right.
carbohydrates, pasta, wheat, all these things, bread,
Yeah.
it
Yep.
ain't that good for you.
It's
And
no.
so
Yeah. No. No.
this is why like people are making their own bread now. Like I know so many people that are doing their own sourdough.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so they still want we've grown up on bread now, so like we feel as though we should have it part of our diet. You should
Yeah.
have it less of a diet than things like meat. So if you just
Right.
what I do now is you look at the food pyramid. I don't know if you ever had that at school and growing up and things.
Oh
And
yeah. Yep.
you flip that upside down. So
Yeah.
anything that they're like, stay away from red meat, it's so bad for
Oh
you.
my
Like, you know, your
God.
body sucks out all the nutrients and it absolutely thrives when you eat it. You got to avoid it at all costs. Take this
Yeah.
carbohydrate that's just sludge. Like, it will fill your stomach, make you feel full, and guess what? You'll gain 20 kilos. It's like, what the? Like,
Yeah.
I ain't listen to anything. And then like I remember even growing up, there was like the lady that was running the cooking classes, and she'd be like, oh, it's really unhealthy if you eat more than 2 or 3 eggs a day. Like, you got to stay. And it's
Mm,
just like, bro,
yeah. Yep.
I'm now going to try and eat 10 just to honor you. Like, I'm going to eat 10 a day. I'm going to eat
Yeah.
scrambled eggs. I'm going to like fry eggs because
Yep.
eat as
Yep.
many eggs as you want, guys. Like, that is a scam. Eat
Yeah.
as
I
much
don't.
steak as you want. That is a scam. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't.
No. No.
What are you
No. No.
replacing with? The
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
lady would run the canteen and, you know, here's this soft drink can and then here's this processed dim sim, here's this. And it's just like,
My
bro,
goodness.
like,
Yeah. I know. Like
it's
I'm
like
now.
this.
Like I stay away from anything in a box, man. Anything that's yeah. But
Yeah.
now
I
I
mean,
literally no. Go ahead.
I'm still, you know, still a bit of a sweet tooth, still want my little bag of chips and
Oh
things.
yeah.
But like,
Oh yeah.
understanding that meat's actually good. And me and my wife try and have a bit of meat in every meal now. Like, we're trying to go back to the way it used to be.
Yeah.
And man, like significantly, my diet has improved. Like, it's now my
Yeah.
energy, things like that, just feel
Yep.
way better.
Yep.
And so you really have to take a second look at steak, which you never thought I would have to say, but like, have a
Oh
look
yeah.
into steak, guys. It's pretty good for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've eating steak almost like every other week now this year, and it's been like, dude, I'm like, wow, I feel better. I'm running almost every day. I'm like, oh, okay, like this actually it feels more. This feels normal. And the other thing too is like I realized that like when you compare, like we talked about, when you look at the CPI data, I feel like my inflation rate now is in fiat term is gonna be higher because I'm not buying like the cheap cereals like you said, or the cheap I don't know breakfast packages and stuff like that. I'm actually eating eggs every day, steak for dinner, or like I'm staying away. I mean, it's hard to like give it all away, be 100% healthy in a way, because like it's kind of like I feel like once in a while you have to do, it's like baby steps, you just gotta stop buying the things that that are bad for you, and then over time gradually you know buy like everything that's like that comes from earth or from an animal. I think that's pretty good. But like, dude, like I feel like for now it's like I can't see myself going back to like eating like bread every single day. Like I stopped eating bread. Like I mean I have a sandwich here and there, but like I used to have bread every single day, and then now I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, that suits my diet completely, honestly. And um, there's something else I wanted to that book also mentioned in the beginning when he was talking about how I think it was talking about um how they killed gold, and how in like 1933 how Roosevelt was saying they basically the way that it was said is it's basically how they killed gold twice. 1933 when Roosevelt was like, oh, if you hold gold or an amount of gold you have to turn it in, or you get 10 years in prison or $10,000 fine. And then in 1971, of course, when Nixon just took us off the gold standard, and like now it's like, okay, the so gold is great and all, but like now I don't see myself holding gold anymore. What do you think about gold actually? Because now it's like if the government can like do all of this, why did guys like Peter Schiff and all them are like still kind of like selling gold and pushing gold onto people if this can just happen just by a signature in the paper? You know what I'm saying? Like what's I don't know, man. Like gold to me feels like it is an inferior asset that can be easily manipulated. Yeah, you can own it, sure, you can have it, but somebody else with bigger guns can just take it from you. It's like, what's the point? Nobody knows how much Bitcoin I have. Nobody knows where to find my Bitcoin. Nobody know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, man. What's your point? What's your take on gold?
So initially, when I went on all in on Bitcoin, I was like, "Gold's trash. Gold sucks. Like this is the superior gold." And like I still believe that. It's just I now understand like why people were fleeing to a store of value, especially right now. So we're seeing people fleeing the stock market. Basically, China's saying, "You know what? If you're going to be doing this to me or whatever, I'm out of your stock market. Peace." And then suddenly, it's just they're going to dump onto retail investors. And so I understand people are going to shift to a store of value again. We're going to go back. Like this is the same tale from for thousands of years. It's like when crap hits the fan, flee to the most scarce thing. And so gold is fulfilling that compared to things like the stock market. So the stock market's very illusion based. It's very it's just like a house of cards waiting to fall because it's built onto a printed dollar. So when things like Apple are trading at 150 times their earnings, it's like that is not sustainable because the projected value into the future is not what's happening in the present. So, they might earn whatever it is billion per year, but they've put at $3 trillion asset. It's like it's people are buying into the idea of them, but also it's just based on a printed dollar. So when dollars are printed, it has to go somewhere. Where is it going? The Magnificent Seven, gold, Bitcoin, and so I think with gold, superior store of value over S&P 500, over other things like that. I would even say over bonds, treasuries, like that's obvious. But then when you really grasp the idea of something being physical, a lot of people think that's a positive and something that's, yeah, like a superior aspect to things. So when something's physical, they suddenly believe it has more value because, it's tangible. You can actually pick it up. You can feel it. You can feel the weight of it. But it's actually a negative. So with gold, let's say I'm just holding a gold bar right now. Someone barges in with a gun, give me your gold, boom, they have it. Like no chance I'm getting that back. Like it is gone. All my store of value gone. Or, what we see now with basically World War III breaking out. And it's like, imagine you're at home, suddenly bombs are flying. Where's my gold at? I gotta go in the backyard, get it. Oh, it's too heavy. I'm leaving it. See ya. That's your whole plan A destroyed in one bomb, bro. Like, you got no chance. Like, try and get that through border security without them confiscating. Like, try and get that through anyone. Like, as soon as they check your backpack and see gold, you're screwed. Like, your life is on the line. And so you start understanding that you strip that physicality away from it and suddenly make it digital, and it's like untouchable. So it's, you tell me where my Bitcoin's stored because I barely even understand it. So good luck getting it, like, oh, it's backed by 24 words or 12-word phrase or whatever. Maybe you do a multi-sig and you scatter across multiple locations. Like, good luck robbing at least two of those places. And you might be able to find the cold storage device, but do you know where the word phrases are? Like, there's so many ways you can level up your security. Whereas gold, it's like, it's either buried in the backyard, under your pillow, or in a vault. And I very much doubt you're going to send it across the world and go, hey, my second's cousin twice removed, he's holding it in his basement. It's like, no chance anyone trusts that second cousin's in the mum's basement. Like, whereas with Bitcoin, if I really want, I can put it into anyone's hands and say, you look after this, bro. Like, I live in Australia. They just passed a law that they're coming for my Bitcoin. So I'm sending it to old mate, cousin in New Zealand or cousin in America, and he's looking it after for me. Like, maybe he doesn't even have the words, but you've sort of transferred the value over to him. Like, there's ways you could build your security. And I think, and yeah, stripping back that being physical is actually a positive thing. So being digital is superior. So it's superior gold, it's digital gold. And yeah, it's also going to outperform gold. So there's not really an argument to be buying gold anymore unless you really think there's going to be an absolute internet wipeout in the next 5-10 years with these wars going on. And even then, your gold will be worth nothing as well. It will just become a rock, stripped back to its fundamentals. And nobody's going to be trading rock for water and foods and guns and ammo. So if I was you, if you really think the world's ending, you should be storing up alcohol, water, food supplies. You're not going to be caring about a gold bar that's sitting in the corner of your room. Like, it's not going to be worth anything as well. So there's no leg to stand on for gold anymore. I think if you understand the idea of a store of value, then Bitcoin's a superior store of value. So time to swap gold to Bitcoin.
Right. And also the other thing too, it's like with gold, you can't really transact in it. It's not like you can go melt like some of it to buy bread. It's kind of like, it's a pain in the butt to do all that. With Bitcoin, you can just, maybe in the future we'll be buying like eggs for like 10 satoshis, who knows, I don't know, but like, it's easier to transact. There's so many more qualities that Bitcoin has over gold. So no, 100% agree, man. 100% agree. And how else has Bitcoin changed you?
Yeah, so it's complete. I feel like it's just completely changed my mind in every aspect when it comes to the projection of the future. Because I think as a young person now, like, I've shared this in a few of my conversations, but like, you're thrown into a world that you have no idea about. You don't understand how money works. You just assume you should take on as much debt as possible to function in society. And it's like, you're never going to be able to pay that back. So then pass it on to your kids. And it's just like this constant problem that's just going to go boom, boom, boom into the future generations. So we're not only screwed, but our future kids are screwed if we continue to save in dollars. And so as I understood that, I became a lot better saver. So I used to be like, consume, spend, because, fundamentally, even if I haven't said it out loud, I know my dollars are worth less tomorrow. And that's without understanding that they're printing money. It was just seeing what's around me, understanding, oh crap, I didn't get into houses early. A house was $200,000 in the early 2000s in Australia, and now it's like an average house is 600,000, 700,000. And so understanding, oh, you've missed the boat in some sense on real estate and you've missed the boat on other things. It's like, you haven't missed the boat on Bitcoin. And then, it's changed my spending habits from a spender to a saver, because I'm now saving in something that actually saves into the future. It's given me, I suppose, a hope for the future when it comes to financial things and being, stable, looking to the future, understanding that I actually have a chance at retirement, and not retirement at 70, but maybe retirement earlier, or if I want to contribute to the world, doing something that I'm passionate for. So that's like another thing that I uploaded a little short video and didn't get much traction, but I'm going to leave it there anyway because it's going to be a good reminder to me like why I'm doing this. And the reality is Bitcoin will allow, and what it's taught me is you should be working for something that you're passionate for. You shouldn't just be trading your time. Like your time is the most scarce thing that you can give this world and give to people as a gift. And for you to be working at a job you absolutely hate, that you're scraping by for bare minimum wage, is just like the most absurd concept to me now. Like it's like look, I think Bitcoin actually makes you realize the only thing more scarce in Bitcoin is time. And so you start to really appreciate your time. And it's like, hey man, like this thing's so scarce. If I'm going to give it to you, I either get a really good return, like you better be paying me a decent wage, or it's like, I'm not going to even work here. I'm actually going to go do something I want. And so right now I'm working for my dad, I'm happy at my work. There's potential there. Like I'm still going to be working for someone, but it's my dad. So it's a little bit different, but my ultimate goal long term would be Bitcoin would stack up hard enough. I would have enough Bitcoin to support a chance and a risk in a fiat terms to try something new. So I could go all in on a new job, and even if it's not working in the short term, I can take that 3 months, 6 months chance. Let's say I'm not earning anything. Like let's just say I was pursuing this YouTube channel full time. I just went all in on YouTube channel, hoping that it was enough to sustain, rent, groceries, and just like living. I can't do that right now, even with my Bitcoin stack. I can't do that ever if I'm with my fiat stack. And so understanding that my Bitcoin stack is going to grow over time, there's going to be a day where I go tell my wife, you don't need to work anymore. I want you staying, like this sounds super crazy these days, but I want you staying home with the kids, which is what she's always wanted to do. She wants to be a trad wife. I'll be able to support that. I don't want her working 40-hour weeks anymore. It feels so wrong for her to get home at 5 o'clock and for me to be sitting there being like, where's my dinner? It's like, bro, that ain't right. Like she should be home all day, and that's she gets to enjoy what she wants to do. Like there's so many things she's so passionate about and she doesn't get to pursue it because we're forced into a two-person career. And if she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, she should be able to do. If she wants to go to work, she should be able to, but it shouldn't be for financial reasons. It shouldn't be a necessity. It should be an option. And so Bitcoin really frees up that aspect of life. It allows us to do things that we're passionate for, take a risk in life, because Bitcoin can be like your safe haven savings account. And you always have it to lean on financially. And so understanding that concept is huge, and it really changes your your projection of the future, your perception on the future, and yeah, it's
No.
a crazy journey, man. I'm sure
No,
you're on
I
the same
agree.
journey.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you. I totally support the stay home mom aspect of it, because it's like I don't want a stranger taking care of my kids. I want my kids to be raised by us. And other than Bitcoin, man, what else do you do for fun?
Oh man, Bitcoin's really it's taken a grasp over my spare time lately. But I enjoy going to the footy over here. So we call it footy, and it's called AFL, so Australian Football League. And so it's a
Nice.
pretty hectic game, a combination of sort of looks like almost like rugby with tackling, but then there's kicking like soccer. Anyway, pretty crazy
Interesting.
game. I go to that nearly every week with my brother. We just go watch. Um, that's something I enjoy. I watch that. That's in my downtime. I've been playing a little bit of PlayStation just every now and then, but now that I'm married, that's I've been drawn back a fair bit. So don't mind a little bit of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty social. I hang out with all my friends and things, and try and I guess I live very normally. Of course, nothing's really changed in that aspect, but
Nice.
deep down, I'm optimistic about my future and cruising. So I'm not too stressed about the future anymore, and try and tell my friends, try and tell my family, but otherwise,
Yeah.
just a good bloke, just cruising.
I like that. I like that, man. I like that. Is the footy like? Is it like soccer? Like, what's that sport like? Actually, I don't even know if I like. You said like rugby.
So you got to search up AFL highlights or most intense fights and things like that anyway, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just a combination of kicking skills. Like you have to have pinpoint accuracy with an oval sized football, so it's not like a
I see.
bowl, it's like a oval. And then
Yeah. Oh yeah.
there's sticks to kick through, so there's also that aspect of like rugby or NFL or whatever. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
it's a
Okay. Yeah.
hectic
Wow.
game, and they wear
Yeah.
no protective gear or anything. Like they just full send it. So there's a
Yeah. Oh
lot
yeah. Yeah.
of concussions and
Oh, I
broken
bet.
legs, and it's just crazy. But it's very entertaining.
Yeah. Oh no, I bet. I bet. No, no, that is interesting. Yeah. Is there like is it just an Australian sport, or is that something that's
Just
common?
nah, it's just Australian that we made
Okay.
it our own thing, and so
Okay.
there's
Okay.
been a few like special games, like special guest games that we played like over in China and random things. But it's like our teams go
Yeah.
over there for the crowds to
Yeah.
enjoy, but it's
Yeah.
not like a worldwide thing. So yeah.
I see. I see. I see. And then other than that, man, anything else that we did not discuss that you would like to mention today to my small audience?
Um, I suppose I can just speak for the young people, like what we were talking about with, maybe don't just rush into college and over here it's called university. It's like you probably have more of a chance right now because how precious these next 4 years for Bitcoin will be because it's just ramping up ridiculously. Like we went from one publicly traded company adopting Bitcoin to now over 100. We now have countries that are talking about it. We now have Larry Fink, he's buying it, these ETFs coming through. And so I like what Michael Saylor said last year was year one of Bitcoin officially. It got out of the trench stage. It was it basically was a gamble for all the years prior to that. It is
Mhm.
now legitimate. It has now been declared as a commodity. And so these next few years, man, to get some precious sats right now is so important because this price is going to get away with us. Like, I think in 4 or 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if it was $500,000. And that can sound crazy, but like you do not want to be waiting till then. If you hear this now, you have an opportunity to get it at $100,000. It's incredibly early. And for young people, if you're just finishing school and you're not sure what to do, especially if you don't know what to do, if you're not passionate about something in particular for work, and maybe you are, but you just can't see how that's going to fund your life, then just put a pause on college, put a pause on uni, take some time, take a gap year or whatever you want to call it, work just a whatever job, even if it's minimum wage, but work as many hours as possible and stack as many sats as possible because one, you're going to be out of debt completely. So you're already ahead of your peers and they can say, well, I'm
Mhm.
projected to have a really well paying job or whatever. But if you're stacking Bitcoin, you're going to outperform all those people. And guess what it's going to be able to do? You're going to be able to do something passionate. So give yourself, 4 or 5 years, stack hard because those years go quick. And then you'll actually be able to pick what you want to do. Then you can decide if you want to go to college. Then you can decide if you don't want to go to college. Do what you're passionate about. Enjoy your life. And have Bitcoin as your savings account. Don't save in any sort of dollars. So that's what I would say to young people. Have some patience, have some time, really think about this, and stack as many satoshis as possible.
Yeah, no, I like that, man. Like that's a great message. And last question I have for you that I ask all my guests. I know you're young, so if you could go back, like let's say 5 years, if you could give yourself advice other than buying more Bitcoin, what would you tell yourself?
I would say be skeptical of everything. I think you're fed a lot
Mhm.
of lies as a kid, you're fed a lot of lies as an adult. I think really question things, and it doesn't just mean assume everything's out to get you, or don't just assume everything's wrong, but really take a second look at things that are told. Especially, don't just take Harvard University for their truth or their word. Actually, look into it for yourself. Treat yourself like the experiment first. Like, hey, I really, really feel sick right now. Maybe I should switch my diet. Don't just search up, what tablets I should take. Actually take some self responsibility, start to tinker with your own, I guess, physical health because you can actually discover things along the way. Start going down those rabbit holes. Don't be shy. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll just say be skeptical of everything. Have a second look at things because there's a lot of lies we were told growing up. And it's time to find the truth, I think.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, man. Where can people find you, man, if they need to reach out to you?
All I've got at the moment is on YouTube. Just search up Sats Venture. It's the name that I've listed on StreamYard here. So go
Nice.
subscribe, leave a comment that you've come over from Ralph, and I might get a chance to post a clip or post this as well. So I'll send them back to you, Ralph, as well.
Absolutely, man. I love it, man. Thanks again for your time, man. I appreciate it.
No, this is awesome. Thanks,
Oh
guys.
yeah.